How do you figure out what your mission is, what your purpose is as an incarnated being on this 3D planet, this crazy 3D planet? There's so many distractions from finding out what that is. And there's many people that tell you to follow the signs or to listen to your guides. There's so many different avenues to try to figure out, hey, what is my mission and what is my purpose? But there is one method that it always works, it works every time, and it's super powerful and it's super easy to access. And Bashar talks about it all the time. So I want to go into detail about how this works and tell some stories about how it's worked for me. So let's go ahead and get started. Bashar says this all the time. Follow your highest excitement with no expectation of the results. Okay, what does that mean? That will lead you to a synchronistic life. Okay, so what does that mean? Oh my gosh, there's so much to unwind here. But ultimately, this method, this approach will always take you to the best possible outcome throughout your life. It will take you to the best results. It'll take you to your purpose and your mission. So what are synchronicities? Synchronicities are signposts. They are guidance, a guidance system to help you navigate this very confusing and often very challenging experience here as an incarnated being on this 3D planet. Synchronicities can show up in so many different ways. The fact that you happen to be at the right place at the right time to meet the person that changes your life. The numbers on license plates, on your clock, on your phone. There are so many different indicators as to, oh, I'm going down the right path. But many people use those as the absolute. I haven't made a decision yet because I haven't received a sign. This is paralysis through waiting for signs. I definitely recommend against this. I was just working with a client recently who was constantly looking for signs, so much so that he was paralyzed. He wouldn't decide this or that, this career or that career, this life path or this life path, because he hadn't received a sign. Or he had received so many signs that oh, it should be option A. Oh, and he got a bunch of signs that it should be option B. Oh no, what do I do? When you become dependent on signs and synchronicities, you've gotten off course. What we really have within us is a system that we can follow, that our guides will always use to help us navigate this world and to find our path. Well, that system is an emotional system, of course, right? All the systems that we use are emotion-based. And the most important one when finding your path is excitement. Excitement is an emotional experience that is, its entire purpose is to help you say, oh, I want to go do that. Why? From an evolutionary survival standpoint, excitement helps us figure out, oh, well, I want to go over here and collect more berries for the tribe. I'm excited to do that. You're motivated, you have energy, you have extra energy to do that task. Well, that excitement system works really well in today's society as well. And our guides tap into this, use it to help guide us down this path and this journey. Okay, so how can you trust your excitement? You always can trust your excitement. Your guides are always tapping into it and are always using it to help you. So let's say that you're excited about going to see a movie. You think to yourself, well, is this going to actually take me down my path? Well, there's an excitement level to see the movie because, maybe it's because, when you go see the movie, there will be something that happens in the movie that gives you information, or that it helps you wake up a little bit more, or it gives you some direction. It could be that when you go to the movie theater, you see someone, and that person, even though you don't talk to them, gives you some of that. Or you meet someone and you talk to them, and that gives you information. It doesn't matter, and trying to figure out what it is will slow you down. So really, all you're doing is you're following that excitement no matter what it is. That excitement will guide you down your path. So what if your excitement is, I really want to create homes for the homeless. This is my excitement, this is what I want to do, this is going to save the world, and I'm going to be a part of it. Wow, I highly encourage you to do that. Well, what if that excitement is, okay, well, I want to create homes for the homeless for everyone in my country. And when I'm done, there will not be a single homeless person left. Okay, now what you've done is you've set up an expectation. You've said, yeah, I'm excited to create this homes for the homeless thing, and I will not be satisfied until every single person in my country has a home. Well, what happens there is that now you've set this goal, you've set this expectation, and unless you get to that goal or expectation, you'll be unhappy, and it might misguide you. So let's say you go down the journey of creating the homes for the homeless. You decide to call up your friend who is in one of the spaces. It's in a builder space or in real estate or planning, something like that. You call them up and you start going down the path and they say, oh, if you did this and you talk to this person here, we'll get this all started for you. Wonderful. You're still on your path, and even if you have that expectation that you're going to save everyone in your home country, it's still okay at this point. But what if during that experience you end up talking to someone else who says, you know, I actually have a plan, an idea on feeding everyone, and here's how I would do that. Well, what if you suddenly got excited about that plan? What happens to the expectation that you had that you're going to create homes for everyone in your country? This is where it gets to be a problem, because if you said to them, oh, sounds great, I love the idea of feeding everybody who is starving, but the problem is that won't get me to my goal, which is to make sure that everybody has homes in my country. And so instead of following the new excitement, which is helping this person feed everyone, you say, no, I'm not going to do that because I have an expectation. I have this goal that I've set for myself, and if I don't achieve that goal, then I've failed, essentially. Well, what if it happened to be that if you went down the path of starting to help this person feed everyone, that because you followed your excitement, then you meet someone else who is going to help you actually achieve that mission of creating homes for all the world. See what's happening here is that you're missing out because you've limited yourself. By staying open, by saying, I am going to follow my highest excitement no matter what, you'll actually get there. Let's say 4 steps into the process, you say, you know what, I want to go on vacation. I'm excited about going on vacation. Part of you might say, well, that's not going to help me achieve my goal. That's stupid. I'm going to force myself. I'm going to say no to the vacation. I'm going to force myself to continue working on this. Well, maybe that ends up creating burnout for you. And if you had gone on that vacation, you'd have been revitalized. You'd have been encouraged and excited to get back to it. But instead, you push and push, and then you eventually say, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to do something else instead. I give up. So you see the big difference there. And also what could happen, of course, is you could go on that vacation and you meet more people or you get more ideas on how to do your mission. So following the excitement, no matter how strange it might seem, is really important. And so how do you figure out this global overall mission? One of my favorite methods for doing that is to imagine that you didn't have any limitations. One of the reasons that we don't get started on our passions is we say, oh, well, that costs money, or I have to have a team, or I have to have all this experience, or I don't know what I'm doing, I don't understand all this, whatever. You've decided, you stop it before it even starts. So one of my favorite methods for this is to kind of imagine, it's to pretend that you don't have any of those restrictions. You have no other responsibilities, you don't have family that you have to take care of, that you have all the money that you need. Maybe you even have a team of dedicated people who are really talented, and if they don't already know, they're going to figure it out, or they're going to hire the right people to help you do whatever it is that you want to do. Well, now all of a sudden, all those restrictions, at least in a hypothetical make-believe sort of way, are released, are removed. So now, once you've imagined this, then what would you do? Ask yourself what you would do. You could do anything you wanted to do. You could pick up all the plastic in the ocean. You could build a castle in the hills of Tennessee. You could, whatever it is that you wanted to do. Now, what you've done is you've discovered what your true passion is. You've absolutely figured out what it is that really makes you excited. So now you can step back and say, okay, well, how am I going to pick up all the plastic in the ocean? I have no freaking idea. Oh, but maybe I could volunteer to help someone else do it. And then that leads you down a path. Oh, I want to build a castle in Tennessee, in the hills of Tennessee. Well, maybe I should go to Tennessee and see what it's all about. Maybe I'll find some property there that I really like. And you begin the process. And Dr. Martin Luther King said, you don't have to see the whole staircase. All you have to do is take the first step. So if you're saying to yourself, well, I don't know how to do these crazy things that he's talking about or that I really want to do, it doesn't matter. All you have to do is take the first step, call the person, do some research, get a book, buy a book, or find a website, whatever, build a website. Whatever it is, that first step is super important because that step sends a signal to the universe, hey, this is what I want to do. And then you'll be amazed at how everything starts to fall into place because you're following your passion first of all, and then you're just taking it one step at a time. This allows you to flow and move and discover exactly what it is that you need in order to accomplish your goal. Okay, so if I look back on my life, I can definitely see where I've done this long before I even realized this method of following your highest excitement. And really, children do this all the time. They follow their highest excitement every day. They go, I want to go swimming, or I want to do this thing, or I want to do that thing. I can't wait to do this. Well, what's happening is they're just following that highest excitement, and usually when they do that, it's going to be a great time. They're going to discover something wonderful. They're going to meet new friends or whatever. So you can carry this in your actual life, in your adult life. And so this is what I did. As a child, I was really into video games, and the next thing I knew, my grandfather taught me how to program a computer. And so then what did I do? I started making and writing video games. Well, I did this throughout my childhood, my teenage years, and even during college. And when I finally graduated and went out into the world, I ended up landing a video game production job right away at age 24. I was amazed, blown away, but of course, it was all following my highest excitement. It was an easy path, actually. So I just did it, whether I thought I could do it or not. I figured, I can figure it out. I can always figge it out. And when you have that approach, that mindset, you will. But if you think, well, I don't know how to program a computer, or I don't know how to create video game art, or I don't even know how to format a disk, a hard drive, whatever, you still do it anyway. You still take the steps because you actually can figure out anything, especially when it's related to your highest excitement. And this continues throughout my entire life. I can see moment after moment after moment where I followed my excitement and it led me to exactly where I needed to be. It just works without fail. But you do have to suspend the expectations. So I write and publish my own comic book series called Righteous. It's about a mass spiritual awakening. When I started writing this and started producing it and hired artists, I realized that I also had to promote the darn thing. And I'm not really good at promotion. It's not my passion. It's not my excitement. Well, what I did is I found someone who was online that had 20,000 followers on their YouTube channel where they interviewed people like me. And I thought, oh, okay, well, I'm going to appear in front of this person, tell him all about my comic book, and I'm sure he'll love to interview me. Well, it turned out that he was actually a lightworker trainer. He was a coach to teach people how to discover their own spiritual gifts. Well, what had happened? It turned out that he taught me that, hey, I was actually a lightworker with incredible spiritual gifts, and I should join his program and become one. Well, that didn't work out. He didn't care about the comic book at all. So I had to decide that it was okay. I had to suspend my expectation of getting on his show to promote my comic book and change it to, well, actually, I am pretty excited about being a light worker. What's this all about? So a year and a half later, I went through his entire program, and here I am now. I've been doing this for a couple of years, helping people overcome negative entity attachments and depression and PTSD and schizophrenia and so many other things. And so even though my expectation was that I wanted to promote my comic book on his show, I was open-minded enough. I didn't adhere too much to that expectation and decided to take the Lightworker training program, and that's led me to an incredible life experience. So it happens over and over again in our lives. And if you get to the point where you say, well, Xane, I don't know what I want to do, go back to that exercise. Imagine you could do anything. I mean, really imagine you could do anything. There are no limitations. The only reason that we can't decide what we want to do is because we create artificial limitations that prevent us from doing it. So do whatever it takes to drop those limitations and imagine you could do anything. Imagine you had a magic wand and you could just point it at anything you wanted to and you would change it. What would you change to what? Even that process will help you go, oh, well, I really don't like trash. And I would just go around and I would wave my magic wand and all the trash in the world would just be picked up. Well, guess what? That's your passion. That's your excitement. How can you do that now without the wand? Because that doesn't exactly exist. Sort of does. Anyway, that's for another video. So how could you do that practically? How could you begin that process? Maybe it's as simple as taking a trash bag to your park or the beach or wherever you are and start picking it up. The next thing you know, you see someone else who's doing it and you get together and then you start a community or you start an organization and so on and so forth, and it blossoms into this amazing thing. But if you don't even try, if you just say, everything's all screwed up, I don't know how I can help it, but it sure is a mess, and our leaders should take care of it, then you're not helping the situation at all. You're not contributing, you're not following your excitement, and therefore, you're not finding your mission, finding your path, finding what your journey is supposed to be. So I hope this helps, that following Bashar's advice, follow your highest excitement with no expectation of the results, will make a huge difference in your life. So thank you so much for watching this video. It means the world to me. Please go ahead and do all the YouTube things, like and comment and subscribe and all that jazz. And in your comments, I would love it if you would ask questions about, hey, I've been thinking about this or I've been thinking about that. I'd be happy to give you thoughts and advice on how you could actually accomplish that excitement that you have within you. Thank you again for watching. I can't wait to see you in the next video.